If I fall asleep in the middle of a sentence, don't freak the F out. Disabled people of Reddit, what is something we do that we think helps, but it really doesn't? My father spent 44 years of his life paralyzed from the waist down. That badass could sit in the passenger seat of his car, take apart his chair and slide into the driver's seat while pulling all the pieces up into the passenger's seat in about 30 seconds. One time my dad started his quick maneuver while in the mall parking lot and a man panicked and rushed to help him. My dad insisted that the man leave him be as it would just make things difficult and not to mention awkward. The man continued to jam the chair in the passenger's seat before my dad could move over and broke a few of his toes in the process. When someone says they don't need help, fucking leave them. I have cerebral palsy. I love when people help me, but please always ask first, and if I say, no thanks, I've got it, then go on with your day. Or better yet, strike up a conversation. People who are hard of hearing are unable to hear certain frequencies very well. It varies, obviously, but yelling at them is rude and doesn't work at all. Speak normally first, then allow the person to ask for clarification. If they do, speak a tad slower and maybe with a deeper voice, usually it's higher frequencies that go first. A friend of mine who is wheelchair bound told us how people constantly offer to push her to her destination. And oftentimes go to start push her along. One person said, "I'm helping," as he started pushing her in her chair. She yelled back, "No, you're kidnapping." He stopped. I have a brain and spine disorder, and when I was 9 I had a major surgery on my brain. For the first couple of years afterwards I had a hard time standing, walking for long periods of time. My mom, being the awesome person that she is, got me an electric scooter for when we go shopping, to the mall. Well, on my first time out with it, multiple things happened which resulted in me never wanting to use it again. I had 2 cashiers and a door greeter tell me to stop playing on someone's scooter, and even stopped me and told me to get up. This one lady stopped, began crying, and hugged me into her arms and wouldn't stop talking about how I was so brave, and so strong. Multiple older people in their own scooters giving me dirty looks, and one even saying that I shouldn't be mocking them. These may seem petty, but it was really a turn off for me to ever want to use it again. I have a cane and a service dog. If my dog is tripping the fuck out and not letting you near me, it's because I'm having a panic attack or something similar. He's not poorly trained, he's trying to give me space. Go the fuck away. I have 3 curves in my spine because I have scoliosis. Sometimes I opt out of doing things because it's going to set my back ablaze with pain. Whenever I mention it, I'm always told that I'm too young to have back pain. I'm 25. It pisses me the fuck off. Just because I'm young doesn't mean I'm immune to pain, you fucktwat. It's not a disability, but it is a chronic illness that sucks. I have psoriasis and arthritis due to it, and I am only 24. I get, what's on your arm, or whatever body part, is that poison ivy, does that hurt, what's wrong with you, on almost a daily basis. You should try this lotion. I assure you that my skin problems are beyond just needing lotion. I have constant pain in my joints and especially my lower back. I hate when people say things like, you can't have arthritis, you're so young. Growing up with this, I have learned to try and not let people's comments affect my mood too much, but sometimes people just really hurt my feelings. I'm narcoleptic. If I fall asleep in the middle of a sentence, don't freak the fuck out. I'm not having a seizure, and for fuck's sake, if you know me, you know I'm narcoleptic. Do not call a fucking ambulance again, even if I fall down. Shit happens all the time. I'm fine. I'll be awake momentarily, just help me up and finish your goddamn sentence, or even talk to me on the ground when I wake up. Use me as your cup holder when I'm sitting and I pass out. Don't draw on me. Feel free to change clothes to freak me out though. You can even move the furniture to mess with me. Make light of it so I don't have to think about how fucking shitty my life is and how it will always be like this and it will never get better. Give me advice on how to live my life. The same is true for everyone, but it's annoying to hear. My cousin had that and they cool, I don't want to hear it. From a mental disabilities perspective, telling us it's all in our head, and we should just calm down, can be really irritating to hear. Sure, it's all in our head, but that's because it's a neurological disorder, one which we clearly have no control over. I don't have a license to call myself disabled because, well, I just never really felt the urge. But I have a medically diagnosed serious hearing loss in my right ear due to a birth defect. I can only hear about 40% out of it. My left ear is good to go, but my right ear is dogshit. If you're on my right side and trying to talk to me, you're gonna have a bad time. My wife, sister, mother, friends, coworkers. Pretty much every fucking body seems to think getting annoyed, huffing, rolling their eyes, yelling never mind at me when I ask them to repeat themselves often is going to make me see the light and realize I should learn to hear better. I have bipolar disorder. I don't tell many people. Mostly because the stigmas are raging, also because I don't like getting advice. No, a sunlamp will not pull me out of depression. No, melatonin will not bring me down from a manic state and help me sleep. When I feel anxious, I know full well that there is likely nothing to worry about, and pointing that out doesn't make me feel any better. Oh, and I know that I don't look like a crazy person, thanks. Talk about how that autism doesn't exist and it's either all in your head, or a scam made by drug companies to sell medication. When in reality, it is, and there are no drugs used to treat autism in the first place, respectively. Trying to push your fad diet on me like it's some sort of miracle cure. I have a hard enough time with food as is, I don't need to drink that smoothie that smells like a fish tank. I doubt anyone actually thinks this helps, but I'm on dialysis while I wait for a kidney transplant and I've heard this a surprising amount. You have to do that 3 times a week. Wow, I don't think I could live like that. You literally just told me that you don't think your life would be worth living if you had to do what I do. Opening the door when I'm already opening it. If I'm headed your way and you hold it open, that's one thing. But the people who insist on yanking the door out of someone's hands to help aren't really helping. Oftentimes I've already positioned myself so where I can open the door and roll into the room in one clean movement, but not I have to do the shuffling around to get uncaught on the door that you just slammed into my wheels. Not to mention that I and many other people with paraplegia, quadriplegia, have shit for trunk support balance which can cause us to fall over when we lose control of the object we're supporting ourselves on. Oh, and the whole inspiration bullshit. Got tired of that. I'm hearing impaired, or hard of hearing, as the deaf community prefers to put it, and here are my top peeves. Do not yell at top volume, really painfully slow. Just like it isn't going to help a Spanish person understand the English you are speaking, it's going to make you look real stupid to me, and everyone else we are around. It might work for you with grandma, but I'm not your granny. Face me so I can read your lips, speak sharp and speak clear and we cool. In the same vein, I can't hear what you're saying if you are not looking at me. If I don't respond to something you say, chances are I didn't see you talking to me. A slight touch on the shoulder or a quick wave in my field of vision, or whatever you're comfortable with, honestly. I've flat out told some of my friends to just throw something at me to get my attention if needed as long as it's not a heavy book it's all gravy. Caveat: if you snap your fingers in front of my face like a dog, you will lose fingers. Didn't your mama tell you never to fuck with a strange deaf dog? Don't say that I'm brave or an inspiration like other posters have mentioned. You have no idea what my life is like. I make bad choices just like you do, and I make good choices, just like you do. I'm a little more resilient than others, due to my hearing impairment, sure, but that's about as far as it goes in terms of being an inspiration. I strive to be normal. I want to pay my bills, have coffee with my friends, bitch about my latest creepy date, and cry when my bank account hovers near insufficient funds just like any other 26-year-old female in America. I don't want to be your inspiration, I want to be your next door neighbor and I want to be left to my own devices, please. On a lighter note, please do not be afraid to ask questions. As much as I say I want to be normal and treated as such, part of this is also being very open to any questions you're afraid to ask. It does not help me if you don't ask questions. Nothing is offensive, trust me, I own the world cripple, nothing phases me. Granted, it may not be the same for all other deaf people, but even on my grumpiest days, I have never, ever failed to stop and politely answer any questions about my disability. It just doesn't bother me. In my experience, the more people know about something novel, like a disability, the more normal it becomes to them, and the more they see the individual in question as one of them. So please, ask away without hesitation. I don't know if I actually qualify for disability, the paperwork honestly looks exhausting, but I have a chronic pain condition. Please don't tell me it's all in my head. Everything we experience through the brain. Of course it's in my head. That doesn't change the fact that my entire body, muscles, joints, bones, skin, tendons, etc. all hurt, right now, and I can't do anything about it. All you're doing is patronizing me and it's bumming me out. Also, please don't tell me to take an aspirin, Tylenol, smoke pot. I've tried it. I've tried everything you can get OTC and everything homeopathy has to offer. If you've heard of something cool and brand new, though, feel free to tell me about it. My top 3 are: don't push my wheelchair anywhere, don't even touch it, it's a serious invasion of space. Don't bend down to my level to talk to me, I can hear you perfectly well, and it's incredibly demeaning. Don't try to faith heal me. I can't believe this one even needs saying, but there have been several distinct occasions. What do you think you are fixing? Seriously. I have an autism spectrum disorder. You don't need to talk to me like I'm 5. I understand speech just fine. It's non-verbal cues I have trouble with. It's incredible really, how some people will talk to me normally until the second they find out I'm autistic and then suddenly they're treating me like a mentally challenged child. It's patronizing and obnoxious. Just talk to me like you would anyone else, and if I need something explained to me, I will ask. It's that simple. Post images of disabled people like the guy who finished the Boston Marathon last with the caption, "What's your excuse?" Just because one person with one particular disability does something amazing doesn't mean we're all fodder for the next inspirational internet meme or biopic. I tried to do laundry today, and the strength went out of my legs, gave out before I even got downstairs to put the gathered laundry into the machine. 8 hours of bed rest later, and I'm still holding onto furniture to walk to the bathroom without falling. This is just general advice. Never try to give a blind person a high five unless they put their hand up first. It's just embarrassing for all parties. Similar thing for handshakes unless it's a super obvious situation. Even then, it's probably better to say something like, "I'm shaking your hand," or, "hands out," so they know. Don't assume I have some kind of cognitive problems just because I'm a wheelchair user. I'm far more intelligent than the majority of professionals running my care plan. Please don't bend down to talk to me, just be comfortable in yourself and posture. And finally, don't think that if somebody is disabled then they aren't sexually active or interested. Most other disabled people I know are the kinkiest and incredibly creative when it comes to relationships. What absolutely kills me the most is when people park in handicapped spots right in front of me. I'm partially paralyzed and walk with a cane. Then, when I confront them about parking where they shouldn't be parking, they will oftentimes yell at me and/or make fun of me. Most times I get, "Well, what are you going to do about it?" Then they walk away. This single thing makes me feel the most worthless of anything that people say or do. It makes me feel like my existence is an inconvenience to the rest of the world. In all honesty, I, a grown 36-year-old man, have privately cried a few times over people doing this. Please, if you are not disabled, don't park there.